Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me for another episode of the Pot Spoon Kitchen. Today I will be sharing with you my recipe for a saltfish stuffed pull-apart bread. This is a really unique, flavorful and delicious recipe. And if you like garlic bread and you like salt fish, whether it be salted cod or any type of salted fish, you can also substitute this for smoked fish. You would love this recipe. For this recipe, you will need So the first step we will do is our dough, and then we will do our saltfish and then our topping. Today I will be using a stand mixer, but you can do this by hand. I will be using my dough hook to mix the dough. The first step, we will add our dry ingredients: yeast, salt, garlic powder, sugar, and we will give this a light stir just to incorporate these ingredients. We will now add our cheese, Parmesan, just to get everything into the mixture. Let's go ahead and add our butter. Add your egg. We want to mix this until the gluten is formed. And how we know the gluten is formed? It is when the dough leaves the side of our mixer bowl and cleans it, but the bottom is sticking to the pan. The bottom of the dough is still sticking to the pan, or it can completely come off the pan. So that's how we know our gluten has been formed. We're going to slowly add our milk. We will now spray our bowl. Give this a good spray, and we will form our dough into a ball. And if you can see, the dough has, you can see the cheese in the dough, and that is what we want. So we will now shape this, and we will leave this to rise for 1 hour. So we are now ready to do our saltfish filling, and for this recipe we will need 2 tablespoons of chopped tomatoes in cubes. We don't want the tomatoes to be too ripe, we want it to be a little bit on the harder side. We have 1 tablespoon of green onions. We have red bell peppers. This is 1/4 cup. We have 1/4 cup of green bell peppers cubed. We have 2 tablespoons of chopped onion, 1 tablespoon of butter unsalted. You can use oil to replace this. We have 1 cup of saltfish that was washed, boiled, rinsed until all the salt is out, almost all of the salt. And we have a pinch of salt just in case we need to add any salt to this. Now we will go ahead and saute our vegetables. Onions, green bell peppers, red bell peppers, the last thing we want to add is our tomatoes. We will leave this to get tender for about 30 seconds and we will continue. We will now add our green onions to this. And we will add our saltfish. We want to make this recipe as dry as we could because it is going to go into the dough as a filling. So we don't want this to make the filling soggy. We will now add our tomatoes to this, and we want to cook out some of the water from this. The reason why we did not add more butter to this is because we want it to be a dry filling. We want it to be as dry as possible. So we will now go ahead and plate this, and we will leave this to cool down. For about 20 to 30 minutes. We want to spread this out so it releases a lot of the steam. And there you have it, our saltfish filling. (350 degrees) for the first 10 minutes on the bottom rack. We want to get the cooking process started from the bottom up, and then we will come back and then we will dress this with our garlic butter and our cheese. The reason why we are adding the cheese after the first 10 minutes is because we do not want the cheese to brown. The top and the bottom is not cooked. While we have our bread pre-baking in the oven, we will now prepare our topping. So for this we need 1 teaspoon of dry parsley flakes. If you have fresh parsley flakes, it's even better. We have 1 teaspoon of granulated garlic, 1 teaspoon of unsalted butter. We have a 1/4 cup of Parmesan Romano, and we have a 1/4 cup of Gouda cheese. Add our butter to our granulated garlic, and we will add our parsley flakes to this because we will brush this onto the hot bread and the butter will melt in the process. So no need to melt the butter for this recipe. I'm going to give this a really good mix. So this is still kind of hot, and we want to go into this and we want to see how the inside. I'm really excited to see how the inside looks. So I am going to use my spatula because it's quite hot, and we want to take one of these out, and we want to see it's nice and crispy. The bread is nice and soft. It's never a good idea to cut open hot bread, but I'm really excited for this. So hot, guys, and look at this saltfish stuffed pull apart garlic bread. Oh, it's so hot. You can see the steam coming through.